At the 48th Phyllis Schlafly Eagle Council, we sat down with popular meme smith Carpe Donktum. Logan Cook, actually known as Carpe Donktum to the world. Excellent to have you on American Thought Leaders.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
We're going to talk about memes.
Yeah.
Clearly. How did you get into memes?
It was just being on the internet. That's really what the internet is now. It's memes and sharing different things. I like comedy, and that's a really good place to start. The memes, I loved like demotivational posters. I don't know if you've ever seen those before, but those were some of my favorite things.
Right, sarcasm is part of your...
It's part of my bio is
Yes.
sarcastic meme smith. So that's really where I got started, and then it kind of branched out into politics. And we had the Jeb memes and the guac bowl and all that kind of stuff, and that's really snowballed.
That's very interesting. And so there's just some pivotal point where you suddenly realized, hey, there's a political application to this, or you were inspired, or how did that happen?
Well, I think I was inspired because there was a lot of people that were doing things before that. Like I said, with like the Jeb memes were just hilarious. And then I think somewhere along the way, I figured out that you could really put political messages into this, and it was in a package that people really like to consume, and you could convey really powerful messages in a short amount of time that you might not. I mean, you could write a piece that's 2,000 words, or you could make a 30-second video that's going to tell you as much, if not more, than what that article did. So.
Well, I'm very interested in this sort of the power of the meme, actually, because to the point where a number of meme smiths, as we're now calling you guys, were invited to the White House to talk social at the social media summit. It's obviously something that not just the president finds incredibly important. We see them everywhere.
Right. Well, it's also, memes have been around for forever. It's basically just advertising. It's advertising and marketing, and that's always been around. But what's different is that it's now sort of in the hands of just normal people instead of multi-million-dollar ad agencies or marketing things. Political cartoons have always been around as well, and it's a kind of a combination of that marketing and the political cartoons. And so we're now in a spot where someone like me can do these things from their living room, and a lot of I would say a lot of the marketing people they haven't even really caught up to what is the new and best thing. They're still using some of the old paradigms, so it's a kind of an interesting space.
What is the new paradigm?
Well, I think people are going away from going more into like comedy and things like that. I think that some like marketing campaigns, some of the most successful ones have been like Budweiser did the Real Men of Genius, and some of those kind of just hilarious cartoons ads. And some are doing that, but there's still a lot of people that are still doing very rigid. I am running for this office. I think you would like my family, who is, that kind of stuff. There's still a lot of people that are doing that when they could be doing fun and impactful things for way cheaper than whatever they hire the studio to do.
As you're describing this, I just remembered the Mac 1984 commercial, right? If you remember that. This was like kind of I don't know if it was paradigm shifting, but I remember it as being something in this vein where there's this creativity. Of course, it wasn't a 30-second meme, or maybe I can't even remember how long it was, but was this kind of this level of creativity? And that was, of course, corporate, but it was a level of creativity, kind of like what you're describing here.
Yeah, I think that one went outside of the box. There was also there's been several, I think, that they specifically, Apple has done. There was the Crazy Ones.
Yes.
Was a really good commercial as well, and that was another one that kind of was different than anything else that was on the TV at the time.
How do you get your inspirations?
That's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to answer because it's just. I'd like to tell you that there's some sort of magic to it or something like that, but it's just. I think I have a good comedic mind, and when I see something funny and it reminds me of something else, then that's where the idea comes from. It's just a kind of a flash of inspiration. There's nothing specific.
Okay.
I see what I see, and then I see how I can make it funny.
I see, and then just kind of
Right.
starts gnawing at you a little.
Right.
Okay, very interesting. So you've been, you're obviously a big supporter of the president. When you started creating these memes, you got inspired by these Jeb memes. You were already that way?
Yeah, I'd say late 2015 is when I got kind of back into politics. I grew up in a family that they were political, but they weren't activists. But they listened to Rush Limbaugh, and they were conservatives. And there was probably a good 12, 15 years there where I didn't do anything in politics. And 2015 was kind of a flashpoint, and where I regained interest in that.
Okay.
And so the first thing that I saw, when I was getting into politics was the funny stuff, because that's the stuff that I like to look at on the internet. So I think that's where that all kind of happened.
Why 2015? I mean, I think I may know the answer, but why 2015?
Well, we're coming off of the failed attempt from Romney in 2012 and the end of the Obama administration, and what looked like from the very beginning to be the start of Hillary Clinton. I think it was fairly clear even in 2015 that Hillary Clinton was going to be the nominee, and I think that motivated a lot of people to get back involved, just because of how much we don't like her.
Okay.
And how much we thought that she really represented a real danger to our country as far as politics and philosophy and all of those things.
Let me jump ahead a little bit. You're not the only one doing these memes right now.
Right.
You've actually set up a website now, Meme World.
Yep, memeworld.com.
Yeah, to bring together different conservative meme makers. Is that right? Is
it's a collaborative site. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like it's some sort of like jump forward, because it's really a very simple site. It's a site where you can post your videos and your images, and I've got a list of basically my friends, all of my friends that I've made along the way in meme making, and they can post their things there. And then they'll get shared on Facebook, they'll get shared on Twitter. But it's just a place where you can collect them all. A lot of times I will get messages from people that will say, I didn't see your last video. And that's not necessarily because it was hidden, but I do lots of other things on Twitter and social media to where, the videos aren't the only thing there. They keep going down and down and down. So this is a place where somebody can go and they can look up me, or they can look up any of the other creators there, and they can see all of the work. And it's just the work. It's not all of the extra stuff. So I think that's sort of important to have kind of a feed of what's going on in memes.
How many creators are on the site now?
I think we have 12 or 13.
You have to be conservative?
You don't have to be conservative, but I'm probably not going to let you on the site. I mean, it's a site that's dedicated to that. So I'm not going to apologize for not inviting people that are mad at the president. But the other thing is that there's so little actual humor that goes on in the left side of politics that I don't even know if there is someone that would even qualify as having funny material for the site.
Why do you think that is?
Well, what I've said about why the left can't meme, and why they're failing at humor, is that I feel like a lot of their humor comes from a kind of a dark, angry, hateful place instead of I want to make this funny. And there are times when the left does make things that are really funny, and when they do it, it's because they've done it in a lighthearted way, not in a Michelle Wolf kind of way where she just attacked mercilessly attacked Sarah Sanders. I mean, that was not funny. But there are other times that there are some things that are really funny. I thought Sean Spicer on SNL was hilarious, where McCarthy, I think is what her name is, when she was up there on her little podium, motorized podium, and yelling at all the reporters. I thought that was hilarious because I thought there was an element of truth to it, but it was also pushed to the absurd. But the left seems to have a very big problem with just being angry, and it comes out in their comedy, and it really ruins it because it's violent, it's oftentimes homophobic, sexualized, all those things. All those things just take away from the real comic value of it.
People have been calling it meme warfare. Mm-hmm. Do you see it that way?
Well, it depends. I mean, no one's actually engaging in any war, but I think everything's a war of ideas and a war of memes. So yeah, I'm sure it could be described as meme warfare. I think that's a pretty accurate way. I mean, when I'm making a video, I'm pushing a point, or pushing not necessarily an agenda, but a point of view. And when they're coming back at me with whatever they're doing, their videos or whatever, they're doing the same thing. So there's back and forth.
So, back in July, I remember you were, for a long time you managed to keep your name
right
out of your identity, public identity, as Carpe Donktum. Then in July you were outed. I think it was by BuzzFeed. Is that right?
No, it was not a news or a news outlet per se. It was Luke O'Brien from the Huffington Post.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't actually done by the Huffington Post. It was him on his own. He was planning to write a piece, and then he got foiled, and then he just released it on his own.
I see. What has been first of all, why did you want to keep your name hidden? And
so back in 2015, I had my Twitter account, and my Twitter account was my real name. Before that, I think I opened my account in 2009, so it was an older account, and I'd never had any problems with it because nobody knew who I was. And so as soon as some attention started coming my way, there were immediate attacks. You get direct messages, or you get people saying they want to do mean things to you, all that kind of stuff. And so just for the sake of not making it easy for people to come and find me, you change your name. And that was fine for basically 3 years.
Right.
And there's so much in the political realm right now that so much anger, and so many people that they really want to hurt, physically hurt people. They're so angry that they want to hurt people. And I've had people that threaten me. Most of the time I'm not really worried about it, because I would say 99.9% of the people that threaten are somebody that don't even live in the same state as you. They never travel to come find you. They just want to scare you, or they want you to be quiet. And the act of doxing is one that I think everyone understands the consequences of it, but they like to pretend that they don't. Like Luke O'Brien would say, "Oh, well, it was just public information." Well, no one knew until you put it out there where exactly to find that information. And now that I have 30 Antifa people sending me DMs of pictures of my house and being like, "Hey, I'll see you tomorrow," that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So the act, they try to divorce that act from the consequences, but they know exactly what they're doing.
30, you got photos of your house sent to you.
Well, I'll say this. They thought it was my house. Okay. It wasn't my house, but they thought it was my house, which is just as bad, really.
Okay.
But I have a lot of people that just try to intimidate. That's really what it is intimidate. And there are people that call me by my name. They say, hey Logan, you're dumb, or like just stupid things like that. But they use my name because they think that it's going to make me upset, and it really doesn't. Now that is already out there, it's fine. I don't care if people call me by that name, but I do want to make sure that people know who I am.
Right, your public
by
persona.
my public persona, yeah. Because that's what they can try and do, is they can try and separate you from that. And then they can say whatever they want about this person, and nobody realizes that it's the same person that's over here. And that's just another tactic that can be used.
So what do you see as happening next? You know, I guess a milestone was the creation of Meme World. Now there's this sort of clearinghouse, I guess, for conservative memes. What's next for you?
Well, I think it's more of just the same. I mean, I continue to make videos. I'm always hoping that the next one's going to get, tweeted by the president or tweeted by somebody that's going to spread it far and wide. But I'm really planning on just doing exactly what I have been doing. Nothing has, the situation has changed, but nothing has changed about me personally since I started doing this. I'm talking to you, obviously that's different than, that was something I never expected to have happen, 3 years ago when I started all of this.
Right.
But we're kind of just rolling with the punches and figuring out things as we go along, hoping I don't make too many mistakes along the way, and I think we're just going to keep going forward.
Carpe Donktum, such a pleasure.
Nice to meet you, thank you.